Hey guys, I wanted to show you my newest project. I've never created anything like this before, so I'm really excited to share it with you. An explosion box. It's so strange pre-recording these videos because I usually go live where I can visit with everybody, but I'm pre-recording it all by myself, so it's a little bit crazy, and I'm missing getting to pop in and say hi to everybody. But I can't wait to show you. So this is my very first explosion box, and the good thing for those that enjoy using their Cricut is that every single piece that is cut with this project is all done in Design Space. So you guys literally don't even need a paper trimmer. It's very cool. So the finalized size of the cube is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So it's going to hold a lot of really nice size photos. It does come with a lid, of course, again, all done in Design Space, but lots of fun elements for me to be able to show you. So as far as someone who might wish to give many of these as gifts, which is what I'm going to do for Christmas this year. Or if you are someone that wishes to provide this as a workshop or a class for your own customer base, the good news is that this requires 4 sheets of cardstock. I did use the Mink cardstock. You do have lots of leftovers, but you guys know how Design Space works, that it will cut it out of wherever it wants to cut it, and then you're stuck with the leftovers, right? So you have a lot of leftovers for other projects or other photo mats or whatever you wish, but 4 sheets of cardstock, and then it used 4 different patterns of the pattern paper, which I use the current Mixin collection, and I purposefully grabbed that because number one, I love it, but number two, these were a collection of photos throughout the entire year of 2019 thus far, and I knew that they were going to have different colors, different themes, and I specifically wanted it to have a very eclectic look. I didn't want it all to match. I didn't want to have to worry about photos matching papers and all of that, and so I purposefully gathered papers that didn't go together, didn't come with the same collection and all that good stuff, just because, again, I like that eclectic feel. So you guys could, if you chose to have it themed, like maybe you're making a Christmas project or a fall project or something like that, grab one of the more themed papers and pick 4 of your favorites. Now, you're gonna use closer to 3 pieces instead of 4, because you're just gonna have 4 little bitty squares out of that 4th sheet of paper. So as far as product efficiency, this is going to be an amazing project to use a very little product. So again, 4 sheets of cardstock, 4 sheets of pattern paper of your choice. I did use the Mixins, and I just used 3 different embellishments. So I love, love, love the beautiful wooden arrows that come in our annual book. You guys know, if you know me, you know that I adore the little stickers from the Stacy Julian Storytelling Pack. That was my second embellishment. And then the third one was just a little tiny bit of the white and gold skinny ribbon. Now, I love the Mink twine, you guys. It is probably my favorite twine or fiber of any kind that we have currently. However, I really felt strongly about the twine that I used to lay as flat as possible so that it wasn't making my picture unnecessarily bulky with it being tied behind the back there. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but that is why I grabbed a ribbon instead of the twine, because it was going to be fairly flat. So I just used that with a cute little bow here and there, and that really polished it off nicely. So let's have a good look at this with this project. As I said, everything that you guys, all of your pieces are cut with a Cricut. You don't even need a paper trimmer to put them together. I've done all of it for you, even like the little strips that go around the lid to decorate it. There's all an image in Design Space for you. And I've just used, there's just a couple images from Art Philosophy, but everything else is just basic shapes. And I just literally did it from scratch with boxes and score lines. So I have found that I really enjoy doing that, by the way. Maybe I'm getting a little better. I'm not really sure. I'll let my customers decide that. But this has 3 different layers. Your outermost layer is going to hold photos that are 3 inches by 3 inches. The medium layer, the middle layer, is going to hold photos that are 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. And then your smallest layer here is going to hold photos that 2 inches by 2 inches. Now, after I got done, I realized I probably could have made an even smaller layer, but I did quit with just the 3. The fun part is that if you create your explosion box just like I created it, it's going to hold 37 photos. Now, if you guys wanted to add 4 more photos, photos, you could place a photo around the outside of your edges here. And so you could get one on all four sides. So then instead of it being 37, you could get 41 photos actually, if you chose to do that. So for really no more paper than you're using and no harder than it is to create, you're going to get to showcase a lot of photos. So, I'm going to give you guys a good look at this, and I want to make a couple notes about your dimension areas and what to avoid and kind of how to make sure that we can get that correct. So there are a few of these Art Philosophy cards that I've used here as photo mats, and it was just a fun interactive element to add to the box, which I adore, that I've just sized them down, of course, and used them as photo mats. And so they're going to open up, again, just a little tiny bit of dimension. I love the stickers because it talks a little bit about the photo, but it doesn't really take away from the photo. My goal for a project like this was really to make the photos the star of the show. I did not take into consideration the colors that were in the photos. I didn't do a lot of editing. Really, I wanted the photos to it is a collection of memories throughout this year thus far, as you'll see, 2019 memories. And so each of our parents, grandparents are going to get these for Christmas time, just to kind of give them a little bit of a look at some of the fun things that we did throughout the year. So we have some of the foldable cards here. Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention to you guys is that one of the things that I felt very, very strongly about with this project is that I wanted to make sure that my edges were not going to fold or like bow out. I wanted it to be, looked at the very end of the day, I still wanted it to look like a very sturdy cube. Okay. That was just really important to me. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that I was very cautious about where all my dimensions sat. Now, one of the things that I need you guys to avoid, should this be important to you as well, which is not making your sides bow, is that you guys want to make sure that you avoid things of dimension up here in the spine of these cards, okay? So like if I was going to put an arrow, one of those beautiful little wooden arrows up here or up here at the top of this photo, it's probably going to prohibit this from closing well, right? And while you have a 1/4 of an inch around all four sides of this. Every layer is a 1/2 inch smaller than the previous layer. So that provides for a 1/4 of an inch boundary around all four sides. And that's on purpose to allow for some dimension. But you guys just want to make sure that you don't put something in between up here near this spine that would prevent this from closing well and thus causing you additional bulk down here. Because again, it was really important that my sides don't bow out. And so you can see, you can go ahead and put some dimension with your arrows here. I love them, by the way. They're my favorite embellishment that we could have chosen. Love, love, love them. But one of the things that I want to make sure that you guys do is that you just don't piggyback them, okay? So like we have this arrow down here in the bottom right corner of Codeman and I's picture. So it absolutely, as you can see, you have plenty of room to do that. But like it would have been a bad idea if we would have placed this arrow down up here in this right-hand corner where they touched, right? When you closed it, if they met, you don't want that. That's going to add a double layer of dimension, and that might be troublesome for your pages to get in there and lay flat and not be bowing. And again, remember, this is something that we want to have be intact over time. We don't want it to look pretty when you give it to someone and then as it sits there for a few weeks, the pages start to bow out under the pressure. You don't want that to happen. And so as you can see, I purposefully was careful with the photo that I chose to put, specifically on this layer. And it's one of those things where I just kind of built it as I went along, placing my arrows accordingly so that they didn't touch each other. That was really important. So as you can see, they're going to lay close together and you're not going to have an arrow that's going to interfere. See how that works? And same way with this layer. You can see we have a layer here, down here on the bottom of the photo with Code and Daddy, and then another layer here on the top of the photo with Code. But as you can see, when they go together, they're not going to touch. So they're not going to interfere with each other. And again, that's going to help you guys to keep your edges really, really straight. Okay. So we're just going to go through really quickly, and I'm going to show you guys a look at kind of how really very quickly I have just embellished my photos. We'll go around the outer layer first. So on either side here, there are folding cards on the outermost layer and the middle layer. But there are not folding cards on all four of the flaps because I wanted to make sure that I did have enough room for everything to be, stuffed back up in this box. Again, it was just really important that my edges didn't bow and look kind of gnarled up, So again, really quickly, just it went together so fast. You guys could easily do this as a class. If you happen to be a consultant and you have customers who might want to do a project like this, it was so fast, you guys, like so fast. You can see again how you can add the dimension down here, guys, but kindly stay away from the spine here so that your page will still close. And you can see we've got the arrow up here, we've got an arrow down here, so it's not going to add that double layer, right? And so then over here on flap number 4 of the outermost layer, we've got, again, you've got your arrow here. I can't even pick this up with my nails. And this one here, and you can see you have dimension on both sides, but they're not going to touch each other, right? That's on purpose. So you just need to be cautious when you guys are creating and placing your photos in there that you want to use photos that are going to mind, kindly disregard touching another arrow. So again, we'll move to the middle layer. So here's one you've got, look, 1 photo and 2 photos, and that's without a card. Okay. Again, just a few little stickers here that adds a little bit of a caption that kind of tells our loved ones kind of what's happening there and what's going on, and without, typing a whole bunch of journaling or anything like that. Now, just like the outermost layer, the middle layer has those 2 cards again. So what's fun is that you guys can hold 4 photos on this outer flap here. So you've got photo number 1. Again, you guys can see there's arrows on both sides, but they're not touching, right? So again, don't shy away from the dimension. Absolutely use the dimension. Just be mindful where you're placing it, right? So this is photo number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, right? So again, nothing here on the spine, but a little bit of dimension down here on the bottom. We've got the arrow on the other side, so it's going to keep it nice and flat. You can see this little space here. We've got an arrow. It's going to meet up together. So see, no worries. Use all the dimension you want. Just be really careful where you place it. And so here's another one of those flaps for this middle layer. Again, same thing with the arrows. They're going to meet up, just not touching. So you've got, sorry, I don't know why my phone is not auto-focusing. Listen here, phone. Listen here, phone. Oh my goodness. It's so blurry. Listen here. Don't look at my old lady hands. Okay, maybe that's a little better. So again, no card on this one, but then on this last one, we have this cute little card. So again, you guys can see photo number 1, photo number 2, 3, and 4. Nothing in the spine, okay, but a little bit of dimension down here on the bottom. Super fun, right? Okay, so that was the middle layer. Now the inside layer, again, just a cute little caption here or there, some little wooden embellishments here or there, nothing to it. This literally flew together, you guys. It took me hardly any time at all. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy. And I love, and then you have the next one here in the middle. I love that it takes so little paper. Oh my gosh, less than 4 total sheets. It's crazy. And again, the Cricut Design Space is going to cut it all out for you. So this is, as I'm probably mentioned, this is pre-recorded, so obviously nobody is visiting with me, which makes me feel a little bit unloved, ha ha ha. But whenever I do load this for you guys, you're welcome to send your comments or your questions underneath the video, and I'll be happy to get right back with you guys. So then the lid is going to go right back on, and as you can see, no bowing sides. Again, that was really important to me, but I think it is super fun. And what I love is that you guys can, I totally busted my nail yesterday. Sorry, I hate doing videos with busted nails. But what I love is that since it just uses 4 sheets of really non-coordinating cards, papers, and then 4 sheets of cardstock, is you guys can absolutely just go and pick 4 random pieces of paper. Go pick 4 pieces of pattern paper, like leftovers from your kits, or you can do like I did and use the mix-ins. I knew from the very beginning that I didn't want to focus on getting photos all of the same color scheme or theme, or, I really wanted to look very, very eclectic. That was important to me, which is why I didn't really think too hard about the papers that I used. So go and grab 4 sheets of pattern paper that you like. Grab 4 sheets of cardstock. I used mink, if I didn't tell you guys that before. This is like the 3rd time I've done this video, so I have no idea what I've told you and what I haven't on this edition. So, keeping it real. But very easy to make, and you really don't have to think much about it. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. And if you have questions when this is loaded, just put them below in the comments, and I will absolutely be happy to answer them. And I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.